Hello everybody, it's Philly Kuts with another comic book haul. We are up to number 76 on this Hump Day haul. Wednesday, February 24th, 2016. You know, where I show you my stack of comic books that I bought for the week. You know, no big whoop. Okay, yeah, that was weird. Alright, anyway, we're going to start out here with an independent book, people. Strait Jacket, number 4. Amigo Comics. This has been a wonderful series, written by Torres, drawn by Guillermo Sana. Amazing work on both fronts here. Torres has just crafted a great tale that involves exploring mental health issues. The woman, the protagonist in this series, has killed her brother when she was younger. In order to save the world, she needed to kill her brother in order to send him to the other side of this netherworld. And the brother was tasked with protecting the rest of Earth so that all will not go to hell. Now, most of this series has been penned in black and white. It's been showing a little bit more color as time goes on. And we learn more and more about these feeders that live on this other side of the world. The protagonist, I can't remember her name, has had a wonderful relationship thus far with her doctor. Well, I wouldn't say wonderful, kind of up and down. And it kind of continues in this issue where they have their last meeting. And there she is, all done up in the Strait Jacket. That's the doctor there in the wheelchair. And some mighty interesting things happen in this book. Just the artwork is tremendous. And I just want to say I highly recommend this. If you do like horror, if you kind of like a psychological thriller type bent, you'll enjoy this exploration of psychosis. I just want to say that the quality of these books by Amigo are just tremendous. I mean, you can feel this in the book, just how great it is. The quality of the paper, I'm not well versed enough to know like what grade paper this is used, but it even smells different. You know, I'm smelling this and it just smells different. It smells pleasant. Pleasantly smelling paper for sure. But the quality is bar none. I would say that this is probably one of the best quality books that I've gotten. Now, the only complaint that I have is that you see there, it's like it's a white cover and it just has like dirt on it. Now, they only had about 4 other issues of this, and they all had the same thing. And I tried to pick up one that had the least amount of dirt. But the other than that, the cover's in pretty tip-top shape. So I don't know, if you get a chance, support, you know, your independent books. I know that Rob Wise Guy 82, I hope I have your name right, Rob. I don't have it up in front of me, but I know that he's a big collector of independent books. And I'm thinking that I might start getting more into these and kind of look for more titles, you know, just to support the small press books. Now, this is Amigo Comics. I don't know if you can see it, please. There we go, AmigoComics.com. They're actually out of Spain. So if you get a chance, check out Strait Jacket or check out Roman Ritual, another great horror series that they put out. Now, on to some Superman books. Now, the one thing about Superman is that this Vandal Savage storyline, I think Savage Dawn, it has been going all over the place on all the Superman books in the DC universe, and it's been quite annoying. It started, I don't think it started, but there was an earlier story with Vandal Savage in Batman Superman. Then it kind of shifted over into like Action Comics. Then it was in like Superman, and then it was in Superman Wonder Woman. I don't normally buy Superman Wonder Woman, but the story continues here in issue number 26. But before I get started, if you've been following this storyline, part whatever it is in here, I don't know if it's part 5 or something, I forget what it's up to, but read this one first, because the same week that Superman 49 is out, that's the next part. So remember, Superman, Wonder Woman number 26 first, and then read Superman number 49, which are both out this week. It looks like Vandal Savage in issue number 26. That's the only one I'm really going to take a look at and review because I don't want to spoil 49 for anyone. It looks like Vandal Savage wants to take over the Fortress of Solitude. Vandal Savage keeps getting stronger and stronger. A few issues ago, it gives kind of the origin story of Vandal Savage, which was great. You learn that he obtained all this great power from a comet, but the power that he received from this comet was never enough. He was always thirsting for more, and he was always waiting for this comet to come back around so that he could be infused with more power. It got into that whole story. Vandal Savage, too, we learned, had connections to Hoarder Root, who's been this nefarious villain that's been the thorn in Batman's side for quite a few issues, for several issues, written by Gene Yang. If you haven't been following that storyline, it was Hoarder Root who was blackmailing Superman. Had his identity known. He was going to reveal to the world that Superman was Clark Kent, but Lois Lane stepped in and revealed it first. Now, I will give you a teaser. In this issue, Superman number 49, we kind of learn in a bit more detail why Lois Lane decided to do that, more than was what was explained, I guess. Originally, it was because we felt that she didn't want Superman to deal with all the blackmail. But on a side note, I want to say that the artwork across the board in the Superman series have been great as of late. They've been doing really, really good work. I think it's Superman, Batman, Porter. Last name Porter is working on the artwork. Again, I'm horrible with names. I'm sorry about that. And in this series right now, we have artist Jack Herbert, who I think is doing a tremendous job. Here's a nice little big page there. And I like that Superman is looking more Superman-y, even though he's still kind of in the jeans and the t-shirt, which I am getting a little bit sick of, to tell you the truth. I am kind of sick of Superman in just the jeans and t-shirt. There you go. There you see a little love connection between him and Wonder Woman. Artwork on this one is Mendoza. Let's see if I can find the first name. But the artwork in this one as well has been great. Vandal Savage also has two twins in this issue that kind of do a number on Superman and Wonder Woman. So there's a great sequence of those two doing battle, which is a lot of fun. You really do get a sense of how much Wonder Woman really cares about Superman in these books as well. Here's a great picture of Vandal Savage. Mendoza tearing it up. I'm just loving the detail. I mean, look at those teeth, dude. Look at those chompers, bro. Guy's got some fangs. Serious fangs. The artwork has really improved quite a bit. Here are these twins that they do battle against. They're kind of creepy, man. They're kind of like Stepford Wivesy. There you go, there. For father. So check it out. You know, that's my complaint. I just don't like how it's been across so many different titles, but that's what DC does. I just think I gotta accept it, you know. Sometimes if a story is good enough, which I have enjoyed, the Savage Dawn story, I just gotta suck it up and follow it, you know. I'm buying it. Why am I complaining about it, right? Okay, so Aquaman, number 49. We got Dan Abnett doing the writing in this series. He's from Wild's End. You guys know that I collect that series, and actually Wild's End, The Enemy Within, the final issue of the second volume is out this week, which we'll look at in a moment. This is post-Cullen Bunn Aquaman, and I know that a lot of people, including myself, were not very happy with the direction that Cullen Bunn took Aquaman in. And then also the artwork, too. I know that for the last, like, 2 or 3 issues, Fuentes has been doing the artwork, and it has improved quite a bit. It's much more detailed, much more exciting backgrounds are going on in this as well. This takes place after the whole Thule invasion. If you've been following Aquaman, you know that there was this other dimension, this other world that was encroaching on Earth and Atlantis and was starting to take over Atlantis and the Earth. Aquaman was kind of torn in the middle, as he is anyway, you know, because you know that Aquaman is part human, his father being human, and his mother Atlantean. He's half and half, and he's never quite been able to fit in, especially in the world of Atlantis. They've never kind of fully accepted him as their king. So this kind of continues that theme. I know that part of me feels that that theme has been beat quite to death. You know, when are the Atlanteans going to accept Aquaman for what he is? This continues the exploration of that theme. But what I am really enjoying with Dan Abnett's writing, because I am familiar with his writing through Wild's End, is that he is definitely able to merge connections between characters. And I am really looking forward to seeing how him and Mera, his queen, how they kind of mend things up after this whole big ordeal. One of the things that Cullen Bunn did in the previous arc was that he had Aquaman essentially be raped by deceit, because Mera's sister, Siren, who has shape-shifting abilities, tricked Aquaman into thinking that she was Mera, and then Aquaman had sex with her. So rape by deceit, demon seductress trope. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt that that was like lazy writing, and I know that Cullen Bunn used that device too recently in Lobo when he was writing for that. And, you know, I don't want to just hate on Cullen Bunn. I mean, those of you that have been watching, you know, my comic book haul, you guys know that I buy a ton of different books by Cullen Bunn. And some of my favorite books, including Sinestro and Harrow County, are written by Cullen Bunn. Since I started collecting again, I would have to say he's probably one of my favorite writers. But for Aquaman, it just didn't work. I just felt that the writing was too lazy. And I sometimes wonder, how are these guys able to, you know, write for so many different books? I wonder how much stuff has, you know, already been, you know, kind of put in the can, so to speak, and they just stagger it. You know, the releases are staggered, because Cullen Bunn is one of those writers that just seems ubiquitous. Like, his name is just all over books, you know, cross, you know, Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Omnipress, you know, and I might be missing some others, but he's just been all over the place. But I just want to say I'm very, very excited for this title. I can't wait to see what happens. There's a whole nother theme going on in this book, too. There's these vignettes of creatures coming out of, like, water. So there's a creature coming out of a cup. Guy's cup of water there. There's a guy tending to his aquarium, and these hands just manifest out of the aquarium. There's a woman at one point, I think at NYC, taking a hot and heavy bubble bath, and something comes out of there. Yep, here we go. So I'm wondering what that is, man. I wonder if it's those creatures from the trench, man. If you read Aquaman, you know what I'm talking about. Don't want to spoil it, but does it have something to do with that? So I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to this. Dan Abnett, yeah, I'm excited, dude. All right, on the Image, we got Outcast, number 16. Kyle Barnes, Reverend Johnson, I think that's his last name. Great, great book. I know that the TV series for this is starting very shortly. It's going to be on Cinemax. Unfortunately, I don't have cable. I don't have Cinemax. So if anybody out there is getting on this once this starts, let me know how it goes, because I'm really excited. It's by Robert Kirkman, he's the creator and the writer, too, of The Walking Dead. That's why you know that name. So Kyle Barnes, for the first time, goes out on an exorcism, and he has to do it on his own. Look at that artwork, folks. That's a big dude that he has to try to exorcise. Now, the interesting thing here is that we're going to get a taste of what can happen without the Reverend by Kyle's side. Now, is it going to go good? Is it going to go bad? I ain't going to tell you. But the cool thing, too, as well, is that this guy that's about to be exorcised of his demon, potentially, kind of gives Kyle a little bit more insight as to why these demons both despise, but at the same time are kind of attached to Kyle, kind of need Kyle, kind of feed on Kyle. The other great thing about this series is that it's just so chock full of emotion, and the emotions and the connections between characters. Here is a hot and heavy, intense conversation between Kyle and his wife. They have serious, serious problems. Kyle has been physically and verbally abusive to her in the past. They have a child together, so they're always going to have some sort of connection. He always kind of seems to make some inroads with her, kind of seems to patch it up a little bit, and then something goes ahead and fucks it all up. Hey, Kyle's got a lot on his mind. He's a troubled, troubled dude. So I'm loving this book. My only complaint about this book is that it's too damn short. Paul Asieta, I say his name, is the artist. Tremendous, man. This guy, like, really captures intensity and emotion. Give you one more little sneak peek. There's that exorcism. Ooh. It gets brutal, folks. Straight up fucking brutal. All right. On to Plutonia. Jeff Lemire of Descender fame. I gotta say that these are not the most original covers, man. This is issue number 4 of 5, I believe. And every cover has just been this. One of the characters, one of the 5 children who find a superhero, a dead body, in the woods. This is like straight up, you know, off of Stand By Me, if you ever saw that movie, based on the novella The Body by Stephen King. They straight up find a superhero's body in the woods, and it kind of goes through the effects that it has on the kids. But more importantly, it's also kind of a bit of an investigation of growing into adolescence, growing into adulthood. There's some of the kids, and what kind of things can happen within their relationships. So it's kind of like this loss of innocence story, and what happens when, you know, we start to lose our innocence. Now, the interesting thing is that one of the characters wants to try to become infused with Plutonia's powers. So in the last issue, he was actually cutting her fingers and drawing blood, and then cutting his own finger and doing some kind of like blood brother kind of blood swap thing, and hoping that he's going to become infused with her powers. And it's kind of creepy. It kind of shows him, you know, at home. He worships superheroes, and of course they live in a world where there are superheroes. His dad's coming in to talk to him, and you could see him with his bandaged fingers with circles around Plutonia's crotch. Now, what the fuck that is all about. And yeah, he's putting 2 digits up there. So, I thought that was a little, yeah, I thought that was interesting, and I thought you guys might appreciate that one. So interpret that as you will. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just here to show and fucking tell, baby. Alright, so Jeff Lemire, he's a good writer, man. He seems to be able to, like, capture the essence of characters in a very short amount of time. Now, there's been some criticism that the characters in this book are just kind of stereotypes. You know, you have, like, the jock, you have, like, an outcast, you have, like, a nerdy character, and that there's not much dimension to them. But I beg to differ. I kind of think that the banter between them, I kind of like the bully character. He calls the guy that drew the blood here from Platonia, calls her Tugger. Calls him Tugger. And then after seeing this, I can fucking see why. All right, man? All right, anyway. All right, more Dan Abnett from Boom Comics. We got Wild's End. I'm going to be honest, I didn't read the last issue, so I'm a bit lost. Anyway, it's like War of the Worlds meets, like Watership Down or Babar the Elephant. Put in any story that has anthropomorphic animals, and you got it. Another great story where the relationships shine. Now, it appears that our protagonists have started to befriend the military a little bit more. There they are in the hordes. You can kind of see them there, standing with the military. They've been questioned and interrogated by the military because their small English town, Lower Church, was invaded by these aliens, and they were kind of put into a quarantine because the military doesn't want there to be a meltdown amongst the general public. I mean, how do you break it to people that, oh, hey, we've been invaded by, Martians that look like these lampposts? Yes. Kind of the most ubiquitous-looking aliens I've ever seen. There's one on every street, on every corner. They are lampposts. It's an interesting book. Similar to the last series, because this is the second volume, it seems like that there's a ton of action in this, and not quite so narrative heavy or dialogue heavy like in the other books. But I do recommend it. I'm probably going to read issue number 5 and 6 tonight. And look at what happened to one of our cute little characters. Oh my God. Half his face, man. Half his face. Look at that. So you do get surprised, even though I may have spoiled it a little bit for you. Wild's End could sometimes throw some good surprises at you. All right. On to Dark Horse Comics. We have Death Head, number 6 of 6. This is the conclusion of the first story arc. What you're seeing on the cover here, these beak-faced looking dudes, are the plague doctors. Now, family in the woods, find some sort of abandoned town, abandoned city. They find one of these masks, and they put it on. When they put this mask on, they start experiencing all kinds of psychotic symptoms. They start hearing things. They start seeing things. Terrible things happen. Parents kind of put that mask down, put it away, but it turns out that one of the kids in the family ended up taking that mask and bringing it home, and thus the madness and the psychoticness continues with this family. The interesting thing in this story is that it was revealed that the plague doctor, he can travel through portals. He has this coffin that creates like a portal. It turns out that there's more than one plague doctor, and that these plague doctors have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years trying to eradicate the curse of this mask. Now, the cool thing is, too, it gives much more details in this issue than what I just gave you as to what the intentions of the plague doctors are, as to details of what this curse is with the mask, what can happen to someone. And I think more importantly, the interesting theme of this book has been, a family that kind of was, teetering on the precipice of, severe dysfunction because of a tragedy that happens to them and poor choices that they may have made, some of the family members have made. It brings them closer together. So it's kind of like an interesting look at that, at how sometimes our choices, positive or negative, can sometimes end up having a good result, a strong result. And look at what happens when you mess with the mama of this family. She straight up headbutts one of these plague doctors, cracks the mask, and look at what happens to him, dude. Then his head explodes. You gotta love that. You gotta love that. So I'm enjoying this book. I wouldn't exactly call it a scary book, but it's certainly interesting, and it certainly has some pretty interesting themes in here. Sometimes the way the plot changes, it feels, I don't know, a little forced. Not exactly the smoothest book. But I'm excited to see what the brothers Zach Keller and Nick Keller are going to do in the next volume. I don't know if there's going to be a next volume even, because it seems like in the letter page, on the final page here, that they're almost like begging you to spread the word on this book, Death Head. You know, it's like, tell everybody, tell as many people as you can, spread this book like a virus. I don't know, it just seemed a little heavy, kind of like DSP begging for shit on his Patreon account. You know what I'm saying? All right, last one here. Hellboy and the BPRD 1953, and this may be the best cover I've ever seen in my collecting career. Look at this. Hellboy meets Norman Rockwell. And look at that. I want to give you guys a good look at this. This is so much like Norman Rockwell. It is. It's based on a Norman Rockwell picture. It is just tremendous, man. That's got to be like one of the best covers I've ever seen. So right now, cover of the week, cover of the year, cover of my life. Paulo Rivera does the artwork for this cover, also on the inside. And I don't know, man. I think like I want to get this framed. Like, I'm that fucking stoked about this cover. I mean, this thing is just amazing, man. You know, sometimes you find a cover of a book and it just blows you away. The last time I felt this good about a cover was the Catwoman variant cover, Monsters of the Month variant cover from like 2 years ago that I wasn't able to get a copy of. I'm hoping to find one of those out in the wild, you know. You know how you have those books that you want to kind of just find out in the wild, kind of keep the collecting fun? Well, that's one of them for me. This basically throws Hellboy into a mystery in the suburbs. Now, we all know that Hellboy has been all over hell. He's been all over dark places, dungeons, castles, you name it. Darky, dreary sewers, into the earth. Hellboy's been there. But what happens when Hellboy has to solve a mystery in the suburbs? And I like Dave Stewart's choice of coloring here. He's kind of brightened up the color palette, really capturing 1950s America in these captions here. Mr. Paulo Rivera just doing an excellent job. And I'm enjoying this series. Now, Hellboy and the BPRD 1953, the first 2 issues were basically collections of short stories. I think issue 1 and issue 2 of this series, 1953, had a couple stories in each one. This turns out is going to be part 1 of Beyond the Fences, part 1 of 3. So back to the long story format. But I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope that they continue with the covers, with the Norman Rockwell covers. Now, I don't know, is that some ganja there in the back? I don't know what that is, man. Looks like something. I don't know. But it is really cool to see this, and I gotta say that in the Mignola universe, man, they have been getting some really, really good artists in this book. I mean, Hellboy looks great, man. He looks great, and I'm loving the vivid color palette as well. I got to start doing the Mignolaverse weekly for you guys, or the Mignolaverse monthly, and just explore these books in much, much more detail, because they certainly deserve it. Look at that. Looks like a dog, Buddy. Ended up getting munched by something. So I can't wait to read this fully, see how it goes. Hellboy in the suburbs. And another good thing, too, about this series, it's a younger Hellboy, a rookie Hellboy. So he's very green, you know, and he's still learning. And also, in some of the books, it shows him and his relationship with Professor Broomholm, you know, founder of the BPRD, which is great as well, because you haven't really seen that in any other of the books in all of Hellboy history. All right, guys, that's it. That's been a comic book haul. If you can, do yourself a favor and get this freaking book, man. It is, oh, I'm in love, dude. I am so in love, dude. I seriously think I'm going to frame that book, man. First comic book I've ever framed. All right, guys. You have a great week, all right? Let me know what you're liking, what you're disliking, and let me know what you're big whooping. All right. Peace.